All right, so today for our Alma Primo open call, given that it's the end of the fiscal year and there was a little chatter on the listserv about getting title counts, um, we are going to go through two of the reports that I recently edited to simplify for our institutions and have saved in the shared Whack-to-Click statistics reporting dashboards folder. And since Elena brought the question up, asked Kirsty a question about it, I went ahead and used Skagit. I'm just gonna make sure I stay logged in here. And you can see I was working on this. Okay, I'm gonna save. And then we'll go to catalog. And under shared folders, community report consortia, we have our Whack-to-Click folder and then our statistics reporting dashboards. And I have taken two reports used by other institutions and done a little tweaking so that they should function more or less out of the box for all of us. So I did a total electronic titles that also subdivides by collection, and then a total physical titles that subdivides by library, so that if you do have two locations, you can see both your total and the split. So I'll go ahead and we'll start with physical titles because this one does require some editing. So if you check it out and you like it, you're going to want to go to more and then copy, go to your own institution's shared folders. So here I am in Skagit Valley, and save it in one of your folders by pasting it. So for example, I could just hit paste up here if I had properly copied it, which I did not. And then you will have a copy of it to edit. The one that I created, because I'm playing here at Skagit, is filtered for the Skagit library locations. So when you get it saved in your own institution's shared folder, come and edit. And it will open up on your results. And if you're anywhere but Skagit, it will say 0. So then you come back to criteria, and just this very top library name one, you can come in here and you can edit it for your own library branches that you want to include. Whichever ones you include will be the ones that then show up in the second section on the results page. I have limited the number to those things that are active and in repository, and then physical material types. And I did it in an opposite. So anything that's not a laptop or equipment or etc. And so today in this meeting, we might want to go through this because I may have excluded something that I shouldn't have, or not excluded something I should have. So it's good to have a second eye on that.
Yeah, and Carly, other folks who are doing this for themselves might want to filter based on the item type. No, it's not called the item type code, is it? A lot of the libraries use, I think it's called the item type code as a material type to help manage their circulation policies. Oh, it's item policy. It's the item policy field.
Okay.
So some libraries may need to filter on their item policy field instead of or in addition to the material type.
So they might be looking for like what's not a laptop or reserve policy,
Right.
closed stacks or
Right.
whatever is just on loan or
Mhm.
not ILL. Okay. All right. So that's a good extra. And we could, if Eleanor was here, I would be like, which ones would you want to include? But okay, sorry. I will go ahead and we'll do all the reserves and the not laptop things.
Yeah, and I'll mention that the iPad's FAQ for several years, or their rules or whatever, for several years have very explicitly stated we are not to count any kind of circulating equipment in
Yeah.
there are title counts or our circulation stats.
I would guess lab loan is equipment. There's a lot. I'm just going to start with these so people get the idea of like, I always do this. I select them and then I don't move them over. Actually, I'm going to do another exclude and do those laptop ones. And the art and the equipment and all the ILO and the lab equipment and the laptop equipment and a withdrawn. And then I'm going to actually select it. Okay, so I was taking a best guess at which policies, and since there are 2 excluding filters for these, I am going to actually delete the policy name from the display and just uses it as the filter. However, the material type is possibly useful in the results display. So this is how I've set up the results. The first section is a performance tile, which is my new fun tip because it gives you like, ta-da, the full measure, which is nice. And then I just had some fun with colors and formatting. So if you are opening this up and not just viewing as you're editing, you'd have this nice little dashboard looking title, the full number, which I'm feeling pretty good because that was the darn close to what I had before. So I don't think the 2 are interfering and we're getting good numbers. And then you've got the material type here running across, which I've also like, is kind of just hidden unless you're on it because you need that to see that. And the grand total over here. So let's real quick pop back over to criteria and let's get more eyes on this one. So I was like, does not equal. So we are counting everything except, and this is like the art ones I wasn't quite sure about, but and audio visual, I was, because sometimes that means like, well, that says media. Should I
I
put
would
that one
include
back
that.
on?
Yeah.
Yeah.
I mean, yeah, those things should probably be included in the final results count.
We'll see if there even are any. And then, and of course, some of these material types will be different for you as well. So at different institutions.
The material type should be the same for everybody.
Are those ones that
Because
are
it-
coded in the?
Yeah, these are
okay,
the
in
ones
the
that
leader.
Excelris has made up, and they haven't allowed us to change, but I think they're going to soon.
You're going to be able to use these additionals.
Okay.
So yeah, I excluded case, diorama, equipment, adapters, cameras. I wasn't sure about game. What do we think about game?
Report each title owned or leased by the library if individual titles are cataloged and or searchable through the library catalog or discovery system.
So if they've got a game.
Report titles if the media is owned or leased by the library, if the titles are cataloged and or searchable through the library catalog or discovery.
Okay, so just not electronic stuff then?
Yeah, like we don't count equipment type things, but
Is a globe equipment. Okay, but yeah, so like,
I mean, at this point, I doubt anybody has a
has
globe,
one.
right?
Yeah.
Or if they do,
Never know.
never cataloged it.
Yeah. Okay, but yeah, microphone. I wasn't sure about mixed material. Include, exclude. And then photograph probably should have been included, yes. And like picture, I doubt they have any, but then room, tablet.
Gadget actually has, they have a small art collection that's distributed around that they've cataloged, and they maintain the inventory for, and I know they have records in their system, but it's not like stuff that people check out. But they do have, Skagit specifically has art.
Okay. What is the flexi disc?
Oh, those are those tiny little records that you used to get in like National Geographic back in the 70s. They're like National Geographic or kids magazines, and they were these tiny little, it was like the 45-inch record, only it was this really flexible plastic that kind of like you could shake it and it would wobble.
Oh geez. Okay,
Yeah.
well, on the off chance that someone has one. E-reader, flashcard, adapter, camera, key. Okay. We should probably put mixed material back. Realia? No, that because those could be laptops. Okay. Okay, let's see if we even
probably
change.
not, because there is there's a material type for laptop.
So it could be something else.
Realia could, yeah, who knows what Realia could be? Who knows if anybody's even using
that? Yeah. Okay. Let's see if we changed the number. By like 100 some. What popped up? Oh, the original art.
Yeah, you can see their art.
Yeah, I don't think anything else we. Oh, mixed material.
That might be something like a curriculum kit where you have like maybe some flashcards and some textbooks and maybe pieces of a game or a stuffed animal.
Okay. So yeah, so this should be a pretty good representation of findable title then. I'm gonna save. And hopefully then the only thing individual institutions will have to do is change your library filter. And the other, if you don't filter by library, I just saved, so if I don't like this, I'll always put it back. It might still show up because I put, yeah, it still shows up, but then you've got the resource sharing library. So I guess here's a better solution. I will add a filter of library name, and then I'll say is not resource sharing library. And then it should show all your library branches. And now you might need to change your item policies, but your branches should show up and your total numbers should show up. So I think this one's pretty solid, pretty excited about it. Make sure I stay active. So now I'm going to go back to the catalog, and this again was for physical. And now I'm going to go into, and I should probably edit this description since I we changed it a little bit. Okay, so electronic titles. This one is a little more my wheelhouse, being a former e-resources librarian, but I always feel like there's something that I forget. So pop over to criteria, and there are more columns that I put into this criteria than there are in the display because I did hide MMS IDs and the distinct MMS ID and just kept title count, but I wanted to see if there was a difference because there seemed to be there were two ways of doing it. Some people were counting based on distinct MMS IDs and some were doing title counts, but the numbers were coming back identical. So I'm not quite sure.
I'd also be interested in seeing, is there a difference in the number when we're counting based on distinct MMS IDs versus ISBNs and ISSNs?
Oh, yeah.
Because there's that stipulation of count all formats as one title.
Mm-hmm.
So
well, let's play with that
then. If we're getting Newsweek through 5 different electronic collections, we're only supposed to count it once.
Yeah, well, and that was actually one of the reasons why I was thinking that electronic collection public name might not necessarily be a detail we wanted in this report, because I don't know how it will affect that total title count because the title might be unique, be unduplicated in that collection, but not necessarily, well, and especially because if you have multiple smaller collections from the same larger aggregator, so Academic Complete and then subsets, that's going to duplicate them.
All those damn Gale OneSearch.
Yeah. But let's play with that. I did make sure that lifecycle was in repository. Availability must be available because of that definition from IPEDS about it being searchable. I, just to be on the safe side, apparently also added bibliographic lifecycle, but I don't think you need both of them. And then just in case, yet another kind of, is this findable in the catalog? The suppress from discovery is set to no. For the resource type, I included anything that had digital or electronic. I did the ceased publications, all of it. So this might be a super high number, and I think you might be right, Kirsty, about we find some other distinct thing. A few other little details. I did put title count sorted descending so that when it's categorized by electronic collection, you've got the collections with the most titles listed first. So if we go over to results, I used my performance tile again. And so we've got a lot. Skagit's interesting because they don't have some of the collections active that I would think that they have, but I don't know. I need to talk to Abby. No, Abby's at Wacom, but she was filling in for Skagit. So anyway, but I figured this way, if there were collections like the ones that iPad says to exclude, you could quickly like be like, oh, okay, I have to delete that many. And grand totals down here at the bottom. So there is, it's a very long list, which is again why I don't totally like love it, but we've got that performance tile up top. So let's go back to criteria and play with that ISSN idea. So
Like, and that may require having two different reports. Like there might need to be
one based on the other.
yeah, like a monographs report with ISBN and a serials report based on ISSN. And then anything that's media doesn't have either. Like, you know, anything that's like a video or a sound recording.
So what looks like we've got this portfolio, no, it's not needed. We've got the e-collection bibliographic details, ISBN and ISSN. We've got a e-inventory bibliographic details, ISBN, ISSN. Okay, so this one was what? E-inventory bibliographic details, and this one is e-inventory electronic collection bibliographic details. So I think we want the other one because we don't necessarily want the bibliographic details of the electronic collection. We're looking at the title level. Let's see if we break it. We shouldn't, but let's see. Okay. Okay, so in chat, Kirsty has added the directions from iPads. So if you're viewing this recording, take a look at those. I have links to the iPad site in the statistics and analytics toolkit that's linked on the website too. So if things change, hopefully it kind of goes. Okay, so okay, because it's under electronic collection. Okay, way to go, ABI Inform. All right, so if we want to, that was under bibliographic details. I'm going to add duplicates of these because to create this distinct count, what you do is you can, you just add a column and then you edit formula and you add insert function, and it is under aggregate, count distinct, and then we hit OK. Now we're going to do this one with edit formula and aggregate count distinct. Did I just do that one twice? Nope, I didn't. Okay. Yes, I did. Dope. Okay. It's actually fine because I'm just going to delete them anyway. Okay, so we have a count distinct ISSN and ISBN. Let's see if this breaks it.
Yeah, and I'm wondering if that maybe needs to be done as bins.
Oh, yeah.
One bin or yeah, I like either a bin or a pivot table.
Yeah, we'll have to see what kind of view makes it make sense if we haven't just broken it. Oh, fascinating. So what it really tells us is potentially how many things don't have
ISBNs and
bands.
ISSNs.
Yeah, well, and the other thing I'm wondering is like, is it only doing the distincts within each collection?
Oh, yeah.
So like if I take the title count, if I take the electronic collection public name out, hold on, I'm going to duplicate this view. Do another pivot table. We're making it do a lot of work, obviously. Oh my.
He did a report once that was based on the results of another report. Only I was having to do a find things that aren't in this report instead of like only find the stuff that is in this report. And I basically like walked off and got lunch and came back.
Yeah, I was playing around looking for some examples of how people are doing these title count reports, and I did a search in the community reports folder for title counts and not exact match. And eventually I was like, yeah, I'm giving up. And I like closed it, but then like I was in the middle of something else and it suddenly returned all my results. Okay. So, yeah, because it gave us every single MMS ID. Okay. So let's go to oh no. Well, we're gonna hide that and give it a second. give it more than. Okay, so okay, so title count and distinct MMS IDs are matching. So I'm gonna hide that one. And then how do I want to do? Hide the electronic collection name? So yeah, I think we're just, I wonder if we can instead somehow count the duplicates and subtract them, because there's so much stuff that doesn't have ISN. It's not ISSN or ISBN. It's not like there's only 190.
I'd like to see like the material type breakdown added to that title count and see like,
Okay.
because if we
Yeah,
see
let
the
me
material type in that title count, we may see some patterns that,
would explain more. Okay,
yeah,
let's,
I know I'm not explaining it very well, but
that's okay. We can just,
it's vibes. It's all vibes.
yeah, that's what everybody loves to hear about statistics and analytics. Okay, okay. Oh, I'm gonna not,
Maybe sort by material type.
may have to reorder it in results, but
Oh, have you saved what you're doing recently?
now I have.
Okay.
Uh,
Are you? I've lost so many reports that I've gotten into the habit of when I'm switching between the criteria tab and the results tab, I just automatically hit save.
okay, so I'm gonna edit the view on this guy. Oh gosh. Because I don't necessarily want to mess with that top one and what we had. Okay, so this is this material type with distinct ISN. So what do we want to play with as far as what this looks like? Do we want to turn material types into the measure labels?
I think leave it.
And
Oh, put it
then,
back. Put it back.
well, hold on, because and then we want to there's one that's like, don't show if it's empty.
conditional format, maybe?
No, it was something really easy because I don't get into that conditional. Okay, this is under column property. Format values. No. This under. What? Because I did it. Hold on. Idea. Kind of messy. I want to save. I did it on this. Ooh. I did it on the physical titles one. So if I go into open, it should be my recent physical titles. And okay. We could also use the material type for sections, which might be interesting. After. Well, not going to find it right now. I'm going to go back because if we do the sections thing, I think that'll clean it up. I do not want to save anything I may have accidentally changed. Okay, so yeah, and if we do sections of book, journal, yada, yada, yada. And that was under material. And then that's the book. And then if we hide electronic collection, is this showing you anything that seems meaningful?
The fact that we've got books that are showing
ISSN.
and journals that are showing ISBN, that looks kind of
Suspect.
weird.
Yeah, that seems like a record cleanup problem.
Yeah, I'd be tempted to, like, if I were dealing with this in my library, I'd be tempted to do an additional report to just look at
Those titles.
portfolios that have the material type book, but that have an ISBN or that have an ISSN, or folios
okay.
that have journal type or that have a journal material type, but an ISBN.
Okay, I think what we
like that's for
want
the
is the count of distinct versus the sum of the total. And in order to do that, we just need to add these in again and add a function. So But again,
I'm also kind of leaning towards when I'm looking at the iPad's instructions, it's giving 4 different categories for the e-resources. There's digital electronic books, databases, media, and serials. And I'm kind of thinking it might just be easiest to have 4 completely separate reports and not try and do everything in the same report. Maybe.
I think what happens, like what frustrates me and where I think things start to break or not be consistent, at least when I've done things, is that like I'll make a dashboard where it's like, okay, I have these 4 different reports, and they should be counting like the same things in the same way, but with one variable. And then somehow, like stuff gets counted twice or things get missed. So I really love like doing the different sections in the results, and doing different visualizations, because then it's like literally pulling from the exact same analysis. So I wonder if we could build this one out even more. Oh my goodness. Dang it, we're not going to get to play with the union thing. Okay, so okay, I'm going to take this out. Top one. What in the top one? Okay, so now what? Come on. Please don't break. Come on. Nice. There. Might as well process one time instead of 2 times for preview, and still gonna take a while. What's it? Almost 500,000 records. I guess this is just proof that it's actually hard to break a report if you stick to a single subject area, but it's real easy if you start adding them, which is why I really wanted to play with the union idea, because so
Sorry.
long as you use this, oh no, this is great. Because as long as you, so like I found this is thinking. So I found this from, I think it was Eluna back in the day. And basically at the very end of this guy's presentation, he talks about creating a minus query or a union query, which from what I could tell, and it would be interesting to test this against a report that uses the results of another report. It works similarly, but allows you to like do this stuff together and do one set of filters on them. So you have to choose the same column headings, just like when you have a report based on a report. They have to be able to compare those two things, but then you can filter both of those queries on the same set, or on the same filters. And then, so I was going to check these out, see if he still has them up at Tennessee, but yeah, so like the 10 encumbrances are going to come from funds expenditures in two different, yeah. I'm not, it wasn't an example that I was like, oh yes, I totally understand that. Okay, let's see what it gave us. So our total number of titles. And then, okay, yeah, so look, we've got the count is 163, but the distinct count is 150. And then that it's even more for journal, where the distinct is 29, but the full is 44, but like then the full is 72 because there's ones without ISSNs. And then it looks like the visual material is, they're both duplicated. So that it's interesting. I definitely think there's more so much more that you could do to try and get a totally accurate snapshot. Because I don't know if giving, so like you've got your journal title count, what's the most accurate thing? Is it 72,000 or is it only 29,000? But you're, like the 28,000 things don't have like ISSNs because there's only almost 45,000 of the 72,000.
Well, and how much of that is because the metadata is bad too?
Bad. Yeah.
Like those
Mhm.
things aren't really e-journals. They're some other type of thing that just doesn't happen to be a book.
Like, well, and they don't have Gale, but like Gale's stuff defies material type so often, like, and then maybe you just are buying a book that they're not going to publish for 27 years. Yeah, so I think this is interesting data. And like if you wanted to be painfully accurate, you might at least subtract the difference between these two from your total, because at least that many are duplicates. But and the order of these, hold on, because it's not helpful to have these two things in different spots. Okay, we need, come on, movie. Okay, distinct ISBN, total ISBN, distinct ISSN, total ISSN. And then, no, that's not what I column property. Custom. Yeah. Okay. Well, we've made something interesting, if nothing else. And I think it just illustrates both the power and the limitations of uh, quantitative analytics. So, um, but
Stuff is not
it is
easy.
right. It is saved. It is in that Whack to Click folder as total electronic titles by collection. I may just keep playing with it a little bit, or I might copy it and keep playing with it. And I might try one of these union ones to see what I can't make that would somehow break our brains. Because that'd be
Please do.
and yeah, and then maybe at our next norm rules, we can write an indication rule or find an indication rule for books that have ISSNs, one of which apparently shows up twice. And journals with ISBNs, 3 of those that show up twice. Uh, so yeah. Well, thanks for joining me today. I think we had a productive and interesting topic. I'll get some notes written up and the recording posted. Got quite a few recordings. I got caught up before vacation, but got a couple more to get up on the website. So have a wonderful long weekend, everybody. I don't know if y'all are getting Monday off or I had to just go ahead and take vacation